Breaking news and update regarding Blake Lively extorting Taylor Swift.
Blake Lively tried to blackmail Taylor Swift.
I mean, this is so cruel. She threatened to publicly release 10 years of text messages.
Taylor has responded through her sources, through her PR.
Blake Lively's meltdown is the courtroom drama we didn't know we needed, as a judge torched her case using Taylor Swift's evidence. Honestly, watching Blake's alleged schemes backfire so spectacularly is almost too satisfying.
Well, no, we deny it, this isn't true, blah, 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 and of course.
Now, she's scrambling to salvage her reputation, but let's face it, this is the kind of fall from grace that's impossible to spin.
And so they quickly responded to all the outlets, well, no, we deny it, this isn't true, blah, 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 and of course.
So today, Brian Freeman sent an affidavit to the judge, meaning that someone has sworn to him that the information they gave him about Taylor Swift is true. He goes into details of how he achieved this information.
Because this time, Brian Freeman, clearly not here for Hollywood smoke and mirrors, dropped an affidavit backing Taylor Swift's claims with enough legal weight to make Blake's team sweat.
They also accused Taylor of Blake of asking Taylor to delete text messages. This was the original letter that was sent by Brian Freeman. Well, Blake Lively's team was very quick to respond. I've never seen them respond so quick because this headline went everywhere.
What began as a legal spat has exploded into a full-blown mess, complete with accusations of blackmail, mysteriously deleted texts, and a judge who's clearly had enough of the Hollywood antics.
This is just like another level of what I thought was possible coming out of that camp.
And guess who's quietly pulling the strings in the background? None other than Taylor Swift, because when Taylor gets involved, you know things are about to get interesting.
That Blake Lively's lawyer allegedly threatened Taylor Swift and extorted her to release a public statement in support of Blake, or text messages would be released. They also accused Taylor of Blake of asking Taylor to delete text messages.
Blake stands accused of attempting to strong-arm none other than Taylor Swift. And what's the strategy?
There's no evidence. Meanwhile, it's not signed by Gottlieb. It's not signed, I swear by, this is false. It was signed by Ezra Hudson, a different lawyer, not from that firm, which was odd to me. It was a big red flag. Well, if you're going to come out so fiercely and deny it, maybe get the lawyer who's being accused to deny it themselves.
Do you expect a good number of legitimate evidence? Blake is too far from facts, so her strategy includes a decade's worth of private text messages dangling like a sword over Taylor's head, threatening to spill unless Swift publicly vouches for Blake. Blake Lively's courtroom chaos didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been brewing since late 2024, and every detail only adds to the train wreck.
Attached here too, as Exhibit 1, is an affidavit executed under penalty of perjury, stating the factual basis for the statements set forth in my letter. Notably, the motion is not signed by Michael Gottlieb. I noticed that too, Brian Freeman.
In February 2025, Blake Lively allegedly pulled out what she probably thought was her trump card.
If Miss Swift failed to do so, Miss Lively would release 10 years of private texts with Miss Swift. The individual also told me that they had been informed that Miss Baltridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call.
Reports suggest her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, reached out to Taylor Swift's team with an audacious ultimatum. Unless Taylor publicly supported Blake on social media, 10 years of private text messages between the two would be leaked. 10 years. That's not a power play. It's a nuclear option.
On February 14th, 2025, I received a voicemail from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day. Out of respect for the individual in question, I am not identifying them at this time.
But Taylor's team wasn't having it.
During the February 14th phone call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, the speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift, and a partner at Venable, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb.
By February 14th, Freeman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, filed an affidavit detailing a voicemail he'd received that allegedly exposed Gotottle's threats.
Counsel for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, during which Mr. Gottlieb requested, on Miss Lively's behalf, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively, given her absence from the Super Bowl that year.
According to Freeman, a close source from Taylor's camp spilled the tea, outlining exactly how Blake's team tried to muscle Taylor into compliance. If true, it's one of the most desperate moves Hollywood's seen in years.
Taylor Swift is declaring, I am nobody's dragon, girl. I am not your dragon. I've stayed quiet. I've stayed away. But girl, now that I'm getting dragged in this, you're about to get run over because I am not going to hold back.
Now, here's where it gets really spicy. Taylor didn't just ignore the threats. She reportedly had her legal team label them as extortion.
During the same 14th call, the individual told me that they had been informed that 4 or 5 months earlier, Miss Lively had requested that Miss Swift delete her text messages with Miss Lively.
And when you think things could get worse, Freeman's affidavit hit the courtroom like a grenade, exposing not only Blake's alleged schemes, but also her attempts to delete texts back in late 2024.
I am not going to hold back. And I would bet you, all of this was like, well, you got to do that. You got to serve me. Yes, here's the tip, but you didn't hear it from us. You got to push it. You got to push it.
And if you're wondering whether Taylor played it safe, think again.
And I bet you there's a part of Taylor that's kind of like, yes, subpoena me.
Behind the scenes, there's strong speculation that Swift didn't just sit quietly, but strategically cooperated with Justin Baldoni's legal team.
Something is put into this case. Their go-to is to call everything a conspiracy theory. And they're refuting it completely and saying, listen, we didn't do this. It's totally false. And furthermore, everything that he put in there is irrelevant because he didn't even need to respond to the letter to the court.
Instead of wading into a messy public fight, Taylor's legal team quietly gathered evidence to support Baldoni's case, turning what seemed like an overwhelming assault into a legal trap for Blake's side.
In the court, even if it's not a motion, and if a counsel puts in a letter to the judge and says, listen, judge, this is going on in a different district, this is what we're doing.
Let's not forget her piece de resistance, that alleged attempt to puppet Taylor Swift into playing PR savior. Spoiler alert, it blew up in her face. Meanwhile, over in Team Baldoni's corner, the so-called too nice for Hollywood guy was proving that kindness doesn't mean weakness. Justin Baldoni, with all his sunshine and rainbows persona, stood his ground, while his legal team went full Sherlock Holmes. Every affidavit, every legal filing chipped away at Blake's house of cards. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a defense game anymore. Baldoni's team was systematically dismantling her case with the precision of a Swiss watch. Winning the long game? Oh, Justin wasn't just winning, he was practically lapping the competition.
Breaking news and update regarding Blake Lively extorting Taylor Swift. Brian Freeman has just responded to Blake with a sworn affidavit.
If Freeman's affidavit and the voicemail details hold up, Blake isn't just in hot water legally, she's burned her Hollywood goodwill to ashes. The irony is rich. In trying to silence Taylor Swift and smear Justin Baldoni, Blake has only ensured that her name remains at the center of a scandal that's not going away anytime soon.
Guys, do you get how big this is and how much this is exploding in Blake and Ryan's face? This is unreal.
With every passing week, it seems clearer. Blake Lively's courtroom gamble has not only failed, but could mark the biggest PR disaster of her career. Taylor Swift remains untouchable. Justin Baldoni rises above the chaos. And Blake? Well, she's learning the hard way that in Hollywood, sometimes the biggest drama is the one you script yourself.
But she did not ask the court to take any action, and her letter did not merit or warrant any response from Mr. Freeman, let alone one that purports to manufacture a conspiracy theory in order to obtain communications from opposing counsel via a third party. Okay.
All right, let's dive into the part where Taylor Swift casually flips the script like the ultimate chess player she is, without even breaking a sweat. So here's the deal. While Blake Lively was busy playing hardball with threats and ultimatums, Taylor apparently decided to take a much cooler route.
I think I spoke about it. Like, why is this subpoena from Taylor Swift important to Justin Baldoni? And here is my crazy take on this. I think that Taylor Swift kind of wanted to be subpoenaed.
Instead of public shoutouts or Instagram clapbacks, rumor has it she quietly slid into Justin Baldoni's legal circle's DMs. Well, metaphorically speaking, with some crucial cooperation. Yeah, subtle but deadly.
Today, they had this headline saying Justin Baldoni's lawyer doubles down, claims Blake Lively pressured Taylor Swift for public support.
Now, you might wonder, how do we even know this? Enter subpoenas. Taylor Swift's law firm started getting subpoena notices like they were unwanted texts from your ex, persistent and impossible to ignore.
Blake's claims of SH, then they would release personal text messages about Taylor Swift to the public.
The courts were demanding all kinds of communication records. Naturally, this sent the gossip mill into overdrive. Was Taylor's camp spilling the tea on Blake? Were those supposedly deleted texts really gone? Or just hidden in some digital safe? The public couldn't help but lean in, popcorn in hand.
Because if she has been pressured and blackmailed by Blake Lively since October, she is pissed off.
But here's the twist. Taylor never directly clapped back. No viral tweets, no press conferences, no dramatic courtroom speeches. Instead, she played it cool, like the secret agent of pop culture drama, letting the legal team do the talking. It's a power move that screams confidence. Why waste energy when your lawyers can quietly dismantle the opposition?
And how can this information get out there? The only way that could happen was if Brian Friedman subpoenaed Taylor Swift and she would fight the subpoena, and then voila, all this information can come out.
Taylor's subtle strategy didn't just protect her, it turned her into the untouchable figure in this tangled web, exposing Blake's alleged antics without ever having to say a word.
As we know now, he knew this already in February, so he was sitting on this information, and he was probably thinking of a way that he could get it out to the public.
Now, shifting gears to the man behind the affidavit, Brian Freeman. This guy dropped what can only be called Hollywood's legal version of a mic drop. Freeman's affidavit wasn't just another boring piece of legal paperwork. It was the kind of document that makes headlines and lawyers sweat. Why? Because it contained serious allegations with a full-on threat. Swear under penalty of perjury that everything you say here is true, or face severe consequences. That's not your everyday court form, it's a no-joke declaration.
He said counsel is advised that future misuse of the court's docket may be met with sanctions.
Of course, the courtroom wasn't all sunshine and roses. Judge Lehman, the man tasked with keeping things in order, was not impressed by what he called the PR circus masquerading as legal filings. He promptly dismissed Freeman's affidavit, pointing out that it didn't fall under his jurisdiction and calling out the obvious media play behind the scenes. Classic judge move. Throw the gavel, but the damage was done.
All of the people out there, creators, all the people that have been digging into this, all the mommy sleuths that found things, have all of this together has created this moment when we starting to really see the truth there of what has happened.
Because here's the kicker. Even though the affidavit was kicked out, the media storm it unleashed was impossible to control. Headlines screamed, gossip blogs feasted, and the internet went wild, dissecting every word. The court might have tried to slam the door shut on this explosive evidence, but the rumor train had already left the station, and Blake Lively's name was stuck to it like glitter on a craft project you just can't get rid of. All right, buckle up, because now we're diving into the murky waters of Hollywood's quietest and maybe craftiest player, Ryan Reynolds. You know the guy everyone loves as Deadpool, the wisecracking anti-hero who swears he's just joking.
Yeah, I don't see the point in this interview, and if you see the comment section, it's still open. You know, there's a lot of comments there asking Conan O'Brien why.
But here's the kicker. Whispers are swirling that behind that charming grin and superhero mask, Reynolds might just be playing puppet master in the real-life drama unfolding around Blake Lively's courtroom chaos.
How is that not Deadpool punching down on Mahershala Ali? How?
First up, the big question. Is Ryan Reynolds a silent partner in this mess, or the mastermind pulling all the strings? Sources suggest he's done more than just cheer from the sidelines.
Everybody, somehow after these experiences, Ryan does do his nice Canadian thing, but even just like in the movies themselves, you lie, you do punch down.
I learned.
Apparently, Reynolds has been flexing that Hollywood muscle to keep critics quiet, smoothing over scandals like a PR ninja on steroids. Remember all those sudden silence spells from people who dared to speak up. Coincidence? Probably not.
The Ryan Reynolds Hollywood PR machine is in full effect, appearing in both The Hollywood Reporter and the Time 100 Creative Summit.
It's like Reynolds has an invisible shield, call it the Deadpool effect, that keeps inconvenient truths tucked away, while the cameras keep rolling on his flawless public image.
Deadpool never punches down. Never. He's really like, the only person he punches down on is me, Ryan Reynolds. Like, not no one else.
Now, speaking of the Deadpool effect, there's an eyebrow-raising parallel between Reynolds' on-screen antics and his real-world behavior.
He said he regretted bullying someone and then he made a joke about it.
The Merc with a mouth talks a big game about punching up, but famously admitted on Conan's show that he punched down once 22 years ago. That's convenient, but critics aren't buying it. They point out that his movie character often targets weaker or less powerful foes for laughs. And some say that's exactly how Reynolds operates off-camera too, throwing jabs at anyone who might actually challenge him or his family.
As we reported, Ryan filed the dismissal docs Tuesday, calling Justin thin-skinned for complaining that so-called nice pool character from Deadpool and Wolverine was mocking him.
And that's exactly what he did in the case of Justin Baldoni.
But this whole conversation to me just says that Ryan Reynolds is a very insecure person and he can't be himself. He never can be himself. He just has to be a comedian all the time.
The hypocrisy is so thick, you could cut it with a katana.
Okay, so last night, US time, Ryan Reynolds was appearing on the Conan O'Brien show called Team Coco.
And then there's his podcast remarks. On Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, Reynolds tried to frame himself as a reformed character who's done with bullying.
That you don't punch down. Like, it's not your vibe, and it's a good.
Oh no, I would very much like to be
these are
the
the best
joke.
targets. Yes, me too. Like I've done it. I did it once in.
Yet some insiders suggest it's all a well-crafted narrative designed to make him look like the good guy while quietly protecting Blake and himself from any real fallout.
You just a comedian or the guy with the microphone starts picking on someone, and you're just like, they don't have a microphone as well. It's not fair, you know. And it's and it just that left a mark that I'll never ever.
Yeah, you can't
forget.
If you think
Now, let's move from Ryan's smoke and mirrors to the mess it's leaving behind. Hollywood's fractured alliances. The drama isn't just spilling out in courtrooms, it's cracking the glitzy veneer of celebrity friendships.
She blackmailed her friend and pressured her to destroy evidence. And this is the person that so many media outlets have been supporting, including, of course, the New York Times.
The rumored fallout between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift after that Super Bowl no-show is the kind of juicy Hollywood tea that tabloids live for. Apparently, Taylor's absence wasn't just a scheduling conflict. It's tied to this whole legal nightmare, with Blake's team allegedly pressuring Swift to publicly back her, or else. That's some serious high-stakes social warfare right there.
They want to be on good terms with Taylor Swift, obviously. And the thing is, when you think about this now, all the media outlets who has been supporting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds through this are gonna sit here now with egg on their faces.
This legal and social chess game isn't just private grumbling. It's shaking the foundations of Hollywood's inner circles. Friends are choosing sides, alliances are shifting, and the spotlight isn't so friendly anymore.
Being like, oops, we supported Blake Lively, and now we know what she did to Taylor Swift.
The media has started to pick up on this shift. with once friendly outlets turning their pens against Blake and Ryan. It's like watching a slow-motion celebrity implosion with popcorn in hand.
And they clearly ignored it. In fact, Blake has a history of romanticizing the Deep South with her weird blueberry muffins that she did. She has a history of weird kind of racist things.
And in the middle of this Hollywood train wreck, there's Justin Baldoni. Baldoni's reputation as the too nice for Hollywood guy is so stark against Blake and Ryan's alleged scheming. While Blake and Ryan are busy flexing their influence, tossing around threats, and trying to duct tape every leak in their sinking ship, Baldoni's out here playing the role of the anti-Hollywood hero. This David and Goliath dynamic makes the whole saga feel less like a courtroom drama and more like a poorly scripted reality show. On one side, you've got the polished, camera-ready power couple scrambling to spin the story, and on the other, there's Baldoni, smiling, holding receipts, and quietly pulling at the threads of their glossy facade. The contrast is deliciously absurd.
We name it, we change it. Just as our fellow Time 100 honoree, the incredible Giselle Pellicot, put it to every woman who understood, it's not for us to have shame, it's for them.
And here's the kicker. The public is starting to notice. Lines are being drawn, and spoiler alert, they're not being drawn in Blake and Ryan's favor. Turns out, people love a good underdog story, especially when the underdog has receipts and a smile that could light up the courtroom.
She's using the Time 100 gala to reveal this?
So yeah, Ryan Reynolds might be the beloved Deadpool on screen, but behind the scenes, he's allegedly the quiet force behind a legal storm, trying to keep his empire intact while the rest of Hollywood's glittering friendships are crumbling like a bad script. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift stays mostly silent. Justin Baldoni plays the good guy, and Blake Lively is stuck in the eye of this very messy, very public hurricane. Hollywood just turned into a soap opera, and the ratings? Off the charts.
He wanted this information. As we know now, he knew this already in February, so he was sitting on this information, and he was probably thinking of a way that he could get it out to the public.
All right, let's dive into the legal bombshell that just dropped and completely blew up Blake Lively's hopes of using Taylor Swift's evidence to win her case. Judge Lehman didn't just dismiss Brian Freeman's affidavit, he slapped it down hard, calling it out for being outside his jurisdiction. The judge said, "You want me to entertain this? Wrong courtroom, folks." Boom. Just like that, Blake's team had their shiny new weapon rendered useless. And here's the best part. Judge Lehman wasn't just politely sending the affidavit packing. He went full-on scold mode. He warned against the growing trend of lawyers using court documents to play PR games, basically turning the courtroom into a tabloid stage. Translation: cut the stunt performances. This is a court of law, not TMZ.
The way that he has painted this does not really help the case when it comes to defamation. It's a very interesting argument. I will be very interested to see how the judge rules on this. And
the implication? All those flashy affidavits and letters hitting the headlines aren't really about justice. They're about shaping public opinion, trying to sway the court of social media. And this judge just pulled back the curtain, showing how some legal teams use the system as a tool for showbiz drama. The court isn't your reality show, and Judge Lehman made sure everyone got that memo loud and clear. But wait, there's more. While Blake's side was busy throwing subpoenas at Taylor Swift's lawyers, demanding communication records and supposedly trying to corner her with evidence, Swift's team was playing it cool, like a master chess player calmly moving pieces across the board. The subtle whispers and reports suggest Taylor's legal squad skillfully avoided the traps set by Blake's camp. The subpoenas, the affidavit, the whole aggressive push. It all backfired spectacularly. The silent cooperation theory is becoming louder. Taylor Swift may not be saying much publicly, but behind the scenes, she's quietly dismantling Blake's case one smart legal move at a time. No need for public fights when your legal strategy makes the other side look desperate and messy. Swift's team didn't have to shout. Their work is speaking volumes.
It's just deranged. It's nonsensical. Like, fire the whole PR team. It's dumb.
Now, let's talk about what happens next when a judge drops a ruling like this. The media world goes absolutely wild. Remember when People magazine and other glossy celeb outlets mostly tiptoed around the controversy, giving Blake and Ryan Reynolds the benefit of the doubt? Yeah, those days are fading fast. Suddenly, the narrative is flipping, and these formerly untouchable golden couple types are getting grilled by the press.
You are a hypocrite, and you keep getting exposed and allowing us to expose you for this person that, look, we all are flawed. We are human. I don't have an issue with some of these problems if you just owned it.
People magazine's shift is symbolic. When a giant like People starts questioning Blake and Ryan, you know the tide has turned. What was once celeb fluff coverage is now loaded with skepticism. The press is smelling blood in the water, and Blake and Ryan's carefully crafted public images are showing cracks under the glare of investigative journalism. And speaking of investigative journalism, enter Sashi Flo, the entertainment commentator who's basically become the people's champion of Hollywood truth. She's been calling out the smoke and mirrors, praising reporters who dig beyond press releases and staged appearances. Sashi's been vocal about exposing the dark side of the industry, the behind-the-scenes power plays, the intimidation tactics, and the way some celebrities use their influence to silence critics.
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
This saga isn't just a gossip story. It's turning into a case study on Hollywood's culture of secrecy and manipulation. It's no surprise that a documentary is already in the works, with crews and insiders ready to pull back the curtain even further. The promise? An unfiltered look at the battle between Blake Lively's camp, Taylor Swift's legal team, and Justin Baldoni's side, exposing everything from blackmail allegations to legal brinkmanship. This documentary could be a game changer. If it delivers on the promise of exposing Hollywood's underbelly, it won't just be another celebrity scandal, it could spark serious conversations about accountability and power. The glittery veneer of Hollywood might still shine on the surface, but underneath, cracks are growing. And this story, with its mix of lawsuits, subpoenas, and media warfare, is a perfect example. So what's the takeaway here? Blake Lively's courtroom meltdown isn't just about one celebrity legal fight. It's about how power, influence, and legal tactics collide in the entertainment world. It's about how savvy players like Taylor Swift can outmaneuver the flashiest legal teams without saying a word publicly. And it's about how the media and public are no longer willing to let Hollywood's elite off the hook without serious scrutiny. The judge's ruling, the media shift, and the documentary brewing behind the scenes all signal that this saga is far from over. Hollywood's golden image is cracking, and the calls for transparency and justice are only getting louder. For anyone who thought celebrity legal drama was just popcorn entertainment, think again. This is a glimpse into the messy reality behind the glam. And trust me, it's way juicier than any red carpet story. Hit like and subscribe this video to know more about Taylor Swift and Blake Lively saga.